And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado athletics. Got another exciting show on tap. We're going to be talking some women's basketball, some baseball, and really looking forward to meeting up with tonight's guest in just a few minutes. But first, let's take you around the latest around Brevard College Tornado athletics. Men's basketball coming off an 88-66 win over Methodist over the weekend in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Great piece of basketball to keep the momentum going in USA South Conference play. Well, meanwhile, the men's basketball team's in Banner Elk, North Carolina. As we speak, they're tipping off right now at Lee's McRae in an exhibition that was originally scheduled for the fall, but moved to this time of year due to Hurricane Helene and the effects up there in Banner Elk. So best of luck to the Tornadoes this evening. And then Tornadoes men's basketball will be in action this Saturday at the Bosch, Saturday at 2 p.m. for Senior Day versus William Peace. Baseball, we'll have some baseball guests later in the show. They opened their season over the weekend at Averett. Next up for the Tornadoes, opening day at Gil Cone Field. That's this Friday. Now, the schedule's been adjusted a little bit because of impending weather. It's set now for a doubleheader on Friday, beginning at 12 noon, and then game 3 of the series Sunday. So as we speak, as of Monday night, plan on a doubleheader starting at noon on Friday, and then Sunday at 3 o'clock versus Toccoa Falls at Gil Cone Field. Men's lacrosse opened their season as well, also on the road at Averett. They will have their home opener versus Mount Vernon Nazarene this Friday at 6 p.m. at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Women's lacrosse will get started this weekend. They start on the road in Greensboro at Guilford, and then they'll take on Linfield in the home opener Sunday, 1 o'clock at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Hope you can join us for lacrosse action. Indoor track and field continues their season with a trip to Roanoke College in Salem, Virginia. That's all day this Saturday. Men's and women's tennis on the road this weekend at Huntington in Montgomery, Alabama on Friday, and then at LaGrange on Saturday in LaGrange, Georgia. And softball season opener also this weekend at Wesleyan in Macon, Georgia. Doubleheader starts at 1 p.m. So you're starting to get the feel for it. Spring sports overlapping with winter sports, and that brings us to women's basketball. They will be on the road this week at Salem, 6 o'clock in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And then Senior Day, part of that men's-women's doubleheader this Saturday versus Meredith. That's a 4 o'clock tip-off for Senior Day this Saturday at the Bosch. Hope to see you there. And with that, we'll bring in our first guest of the evening. Welcome back to the show, head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson. Coach Hudson, thanks for being with us once again.
Absolutely, Phil. Always nice to be on.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, an interesting part of the schedule here, Coach, because there weren't any games this past week since we saw you last. So would love to hear from your perspective, what the team was able to accomplish during this, break of sorts before getting right back into USA South Conference play.
Yeah. Definitely something that we're not accustomed to, like being this late in the season and I think our last game was 10 or 11 days ago, something like that. And it's because one of the schools in our conference, they didn't have a season this year. So this would have been the week that we would have been playing them. Well, that would have been the week that we would have been playing them. And what we wanted to do, Phil, with that time was, one, we wanted to make sure that we got back to some of the fundamentals and some things that we wanted to work on ourselves a lot. It's a really good time where you don't have to scout. You don't have to worry about any opponent. You got a full week to focus on nothing but yourselves. And I thought we did a decent job of that. We did a lot of competing. Went back to like defensive drills and box out drills, things that you don't normally do this late in the year because you don't have the time. But we had the time this weekend. We really got back to it, Phil. And I think it was beneficial for the group. We had a really good practice not too long ago. And we'll have another good one tomorrow, and we'll get ready to head over to Salem on Wednesday. But a really, really good week for the Tornadoes to really get back to some of the things that we were not doing as well as a team as we needed to. So that time was spent with that. A lot of competition, mixed the teams up some, worked on some of the things that we'll take into the latter part of the year. But the main focus was getting back to just working on some of the things that we really need to hone in on down the stretch. So a really good week for us. I'm thankful for it. You don't typically get this kind of time late in the year to just go a full week, take a day off or two, and just make sure that your team is ready to go, make sure you're fresh, but also some time to really, really get after it. And I thought we used it in the right way, Phil.
Yeah, great opportunity to gear up for this home stretch. Just 4 regular season games left at Salem versus Meredith this weekend for Senior Day, and then road trips at Pfeiffer and NC Wesleyan. We talked earlier about this, Coach, but would love to kind of revisit it. This idea of having all these road games down the stretch here, and the challenge that brings for the student athletes, but also opportunity, of course, because we saw the record earlier, 9-3 in the USA South Conference, jockeying for position for the tournament. It's right there for the taking.
For sure, Phil. And of course, we would love to play these last 4 in front of our fans on our floor. We play pretty well here, but I'm a like perspective guy, so I like to put spins and positive spins on things. This is going to take a lot of focus. So this is really, really going to be an area and a time down the stretch where we're going to really, really have to lock in on some of these things. Playing on the road, it's typically just us. We'll have a few fans, some family members may be able to come to games, but for the most part, this is us, 1 through 18, including our manager, Haley Kinney. And I think the focus that we'll have to have down the stretch will help propel us into the tournament. It's one day at a time, Phil. One day at a time, man. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We know what we're playing for. We know what this part of the year represents. But the wrong thing to do right now would be to get too ahead of ourselves. The most important thing to us right now is tomorrow's practice. But the big thing to take away, the silver lining to take away from playing on the road this late, it's just going to really, really make us focus and lock in on the things that we need to do well on the road. Going into some buildings that are teams that are playing pretty well, honestly. Teams that have picked it up since the last time we played them. So our best is going to be needed. And I think that starts with our level of focus. You can't go into these arenas if you don't have the right focus. It's tough to play on the road. It's a 1 or 2 possession game late. You're going to get some defense chants from the crowd. The crowd is going to get into the game. And can we focus and lock in and run quality offense while dealing with that kind of noise and everything? Same thing on the defensive end. When it comes time to make plays and the crowd is into the game and we have to lean on nothing but ourselves, we got to be able to lock in. So I'm looking forward to that, the focus part down the stretch. We'd love to be here 100%, but, we got to take this show on the road, but it will be good for us to head into the tournament with this experience.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense how that can prepare the team even further heading into the tournament, which, believe it or not, starts 2 weeks from tomorrow. So we're just about there with a blink of an eye. But first, before that, you mentioned the trip to Salem on Wednesday, but this Saturday, 4 p.m., Senior Day at the Bosch, part of the men's-women's doubleheader, Senior Day celebrations for both the men's and the women's teams. Tornadoes will take on Meredith after a Senior Day ceremony. I know these are always special occasions, Coach, and what a way to finish up the regular season home slate with Senior Day this Saturday.
Yeah, it's a part of the year. As a coach, Phil, you look forward to it. Like, you look forward to that game. There's a ton of things that come up throughout the year that are nice occasions and good games and everything. But Senior Day, you always look forward to that, because you have a group that has invested so much time and other things and to put this program where it is. And on that day, you really, really want to honor them. Of course, you want to go win the game. That's at the forefront of everybody's mind. But at the same time, you want to make sure those seniors feel the love. The ones that we have that have been here and have kind of taken the program to new heights and put the program in a different place. I want to make sure they feel that. I try to stress these things to them throughout the year and throughout their career, how much they mean to me as a person, as a player and everything. But on Senior Day, all of that kind of comes together. You get family members and it's a really nice vibe in the gym. And it's going to be really nice this year. We get to do it with the guys with a doubleheader and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. For sure. The number one thing, go get the win. But number 2, let's make sure our seniors feel the love and the appreciation of the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, outstanding stuff, Coach. And do you want to run through that senior class? Well, there's graduate student China Pouncey, and there's some fifth-year folks along with her as well. Lexi Shepard, part of that senior class. Also, Josie Hester, senior. Melanie Hoyle, Shania Hauser, McKenna Parkins, Jordan Gresham, Nalia Boyce. Just an outstanding group, top to bottom, a deep group, and some great history there as far as this women's basketball program when you think back to those contributions.
Yeah, and in their own special ways, they all have left their mark on the program. Some you can look at the stats and the record books and different things, but everyone that you just named has had an impact on that locker room, Phil. and some may not have played as much as others at times, but the love and the appreciation that I have for them for being a part of this thing for 4 years, 5 years, 2 years with a couple of them. Wish I would have had them a little bit longer, but things work out the way they're supposed to, but just a ton of accomplishments and a ton of things that have just been done the right way, Phil. And I can appreciate that as a coach. Like, they've made my job really, really easy over the last few years, just being the people that they are. Really good basketball players, but they're not headaches or knuckleheads off the court. I don't have to deal with any of that stuff. I'm blessed. I'm going to knock on a little wood right now to make sure we kind of keep that going. But this group has done nothing but set the standard for what this program represents. And I appreciate all of them for it.
Outstanding. Yeah, really look forward to honoring that fantastic group this Saturday. Hope you can be there as well, folks. Come on out to the Boscherberg Gymnasium Saturday, 4 o'clock for the women's game, 2 o'clock for the men's game, senior day ceremonies prior to each tip-off, and the women taking on Meredith. Well, Coach, we flashed your overall record, 14-5 through 19 games, 9-3 in the USA South Conference. Record, speaks for itself, speaks volumes to the talent on this year's team. But would love for your perspective now that we're heading down this home stretch, just what this team's capable of and, what Tornado fans can expect down this stretch run.
Yeah, and it's hard to kind of look at it right now, Phil, because we're right in the middle of it. Like, we're right in the thick of it. But like you said, the record kind of speaks for itself. It's been a solid year for us. And I know this may sound crazy with 2 weeks of a season left in 4 games, but I think the group still has room to get better, and we're still growing, Phil. Like, we're still getting better in some areas, and that's what you ask for as a coach, to continuously get better around this time of year. We want to make sure that we take care of the things that we have control over. Going into games, there's a few things that you 100% as a player and as a team are accountable for, and things that you can 100% control. And going into those games, we want to make sure that we're present, we're locked in, and we're focused enough to take care of those things. Like going down the stretch and playing good teams and jockeying for playoff positions, you can't hurt yourself, Phil. You can't beat yourself. Like, you can't go into games turning the ball over. You can't go into games giving teams second and third shots. So those are really the things that we're harping on down the stretch. Like, the thing I told the team today to start practice was defend at a high level, rebound the basketball, and take what we like to call green shots. And what those are, we've moved the ball, we've created an advantage, and we find somebody with at least 3 to 4 feet of space, and they can kind of squeeze off a good shot, or it's an open layup. So I thought we did a solid job of that today. Looking forward to watching it down the stretch.
Outstanding. Well, the journey from here begins on Wednesday at Salem, and then Saturday for that senior day matchup versus Meredith, and then 2 more games. Then we'll head to the USA South Conference tournament. Coach, can you stick with us just a moment or two longer? We're going to invite in a couple of your student athletes who are going to join us this evening, as Melanie Hoyle has entered the conversation. Also, Kayla Jean. Coach Hudson, tell NATO Nation all about these two.
Yeah. Melanie Hoyle and Kayla Jean. Melanie's from Smoky Mountain High School, and Kayla's from Douglas Byrd out in Fayetteville. And they both play post positions for us. They can play the 4 or the 5. They bring some versatility to both sides of the floor. And one thing that I can tell everybody that's watching is about these two, like, they show up every day, Phil. Like, they're present. They're present. They come to work. They come to practice ready to work. And that's not just in the gym. These two are 2 kids that really take care of their business in the classroom. And like I was speaking earlier about the seniors making my job easy, so do players like these two. We like to talk about our locker room being a certain way, with high character and good decisions. And these two are right at the middle of that. 2 kids that I'm really glad that they made the decision to come here. And it's been a pleasure watching Melanie flourish. And I'm looking forward to watching Kayla continue to grow as well.
Fantastic. Well said, Coach. Well, best of luck in Winston-Salem this Wednesday. We'll see you Saturday for Senior Day at the Bosch. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
All right. Have a good night, ladies. I'll see you, Phil.
All right, there he goes, head coach Donald Hudson. And as he was able to help us introduce our next 2 guests, we've got Melanie Hoyle on board, the senior from Sylvan, North Carolina. How are you, Melanie?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. And Kayla Jean with us as well, the sophomore from Fayetteville, North Carolina. How are you doing this evening, Kayla?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Well, Melanie, let's start with you. We mentioned Senior Day, and we're talking about the senior class with Coach. Here we are. You're part of that senior class. Have you had a chance to contemplate, sort of the, gravity of it all and what this means to be here for senior day ceremony with this class and this women's basketball team?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to take in. I mean, this has been my family away from home for the past 4 years, and this is a really good group of girls, and I'm lucky to be a part of it.
And Kayla, I'm sure as a member of the sophomore class, you've had the opportunity to work obviously with this senior class for 2 years of your time here as a Brevard College Tornado. What has this senior class meant to you?
Honestly, they've meant so much to me. I'm friends with a lot of them, and they've helped me and mentored me on and off the court. They've helped me keep the new challenges of coming to college straight, and also helped me with things that I lacked in on the court. And honestly, they meant the world to me, and I'm so appreciative of the opportunity to meet every single one of them.
Yeah, well said, Kayla. And just one follow-up to that. You're a sophomore now, but if you can think back to your freshman year and when you first arrived at Brevard College, and, it's an overwhelming moment for a lot of freshmen, as they head from high school to college and so forth. But you've got the women's basketball team and this group of older, tornadoes who are there, to help you along. Can you kind of describe a little bit what that was like for you arriving, but then, having the blessing of the women's basketball team to work with you?
Arriving at first, I was very nervous and scared because I'm 5 hours away from home. So coming to a new environment, not really knowing anybody, I was blessed to have this team that took me under their wing, showed me around, made sure I was out of my room, helped me with things I needed help with. It was an amazing experience.
And Melanie, I'm sure you can think back to that freshman year and so forth. Would love for your thoughts on that, as far as, what it's been like this whole, journey for you at Brevard College, but also what it's like now that you're a senior and able to, help along the next generation.
It's definitely crazy to think about freshman year and how it feels like it was just like not that long ago, and how 4 years have flown by so fast. I love getting in new freshmen. I love like helping them and like taking them under my wing. And I think every senior class has done a really good job at doing that. I'm just lucky like to have Kayla as my teammate, and honestly everyone, like I get along with everyone on the team. And I think even the upperclassmen, whenever I was a senior, did a really good job at that and helped everyone grow into a really good person.
Now, Kayla mentioned she's from, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 5 hours away. Melanie, you were from fairly close to Brevard, just up the road in Sylva, North Carolina. How was that experience for you to, be able to have friends, family, see you at the games, that kind of thing?
I love it. I mean, I just got back today from getting to spend a weekend at home. I love being able to go home because it's only an hour and 20 minutes, and having my family be able to come to most of the home games, and just having a really good support system not that far away.
Now, Kayla, following women's basketball season, it's my understanding you're once again going to be getting busy on the Brevard College track as a member of the track and field team. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Well, exciting opportunity for someone like yourself, women's basketball and track and field, dual sport athlete. What's that like, Kayla, to balance the two sports, and how do they sort of work together for you?
I'd say it's fun in a sense because it keeps me disciplined with whether it be my health or schooling. And they kind of two play off of each other. Track is, you're running, conditioning. Basketball, you're also running, working on footwork. And those are some things that can also tie into track. So I feel like they go hand in hand and help me put my best foot forward in each sport.
You were a part of a bunch of highlights during your freshman year on the track team, including a second team all-conference performance in that 4x100 relay team. Michaela Street, yourself, Amani Singleton, and Haley Lane Miller. Can you reflect back on that and just how special that was for you guys to, have such a great finish in the 4x100?
It was a great experience. As any team does, we went through a lot of trials and tribulations, but for us to come up on top and beating our own record time, it was honestly an amazing experience to share with those girls.
Now, while Kayla has balanced track and field in women's basketball, Melanie's been working the other 2 seasons, fall and winter, and balancing a volleyball career as a student athlete here with women's basketball. Now that you've completed your volleyball career and you had senior day for volleyball, we're heading into senior day for women's basketball. Tell us a little bit about that experience for you, Melanie. Working with both teams, both sets of coaches, and being part of both Tornado volleyball and women's basketball.
It was definitely a struggle at first, balancing the two sports and finding the time for both while also being a student. Um, but I mean, I think they're both very different, but in good ways. And I love both of my teams. I think uh, it's very different personalities, but I love each and every single one of them.
Yeah, between yourself and McKenna Parkins, who've, also had the volleyball, women's basketball double, I'll argue that you two have put in more minutes at the Boschberg Gymnasium than maybe any other 2 student athletes on campus. What's it been like to be alongside McKenna for that journey and for you two to do it together as volleyball, basketball, dual sport?
I'm so thankful to have McKenna in my life and in my career here at Brevard College. She's been my best friend for these past 4 years, and I'm so grateful for her.
Outstanding. Well, she'll be honored as well this weekend. Also just went over the 1,000 point mark, which was a big accomplishment. Kayla, let us know what you're up to in the classroom. What have you been working on academically? Have you chosen a major? What are you working on in the classroom?
I have I have chosen a major. At the moment, I'm a computer science major.
Very good. A exciting, relatively new major here at Brevard College that is rapidly growing. Melanie Hoyle with us as well. She'll be honored this Saturday for Senior Day for women's basketball. Melanie, tell us what the degree is going to be in, plans after that, if you figured any of those out yet.
So I'm majoring in business and a minor in coaching. My plan is to get my master's, but not entirely sure what I want to do with it yet. And currently, right now, I'm doing my internship with the softball team here, for coaching.
Very good. 2 outstanding programs each of you are a part of. Kayla, tell us a little bit how excited you and the rest of the team are for the rest of the season. We talked to Coach about it. 4 games left before the USA South Conference tournament and a chance for the Tornadoes really to shine. Tell me about how ready the Tornadoes are and what's going to be the key to succeeding down the stretch here.
I think the key for us to succeed is for us to honestly just stay together. I trust my teammates 1 through 17. I'd put money on any of them. I always tell everybody this. I trust all of their skills and abilities. I feel like if we continue to play together as a team, play defense as one, play offense as one, we'll be all right. And as we're moving closer to that championship, I feel like the excitement is definitely there. The competition is picking up. We're definitely making each other better in practice.
Melanie, could you add to that as a senior and one of the leaders on this team?
I think she said it pretty well. I think one thing that we definitely have to continue to do is depend on each other and not allow each other to feel the pressure all on our own. And I've noticed kind of how Kayla just said that even just like in the past, like 2 weeks, practice has been completely different. I think it's been super competitive and we're all pushing each other to get better so that we can make it to the championship.
Outstanding. Melanie, one more for you, then we'll take it to shout outs. It's pretty exceptional for someone to go through their entire career with the 2 sports and, to have all the experiences you've had at Brevard College. Can you sum it up, sort of, what this experience has meant to you, playing women's basketball, playing volleyball, and your time here at Brevard?
It's honestly meant the world to me. I've made so many connections with all these women, and hopefully they last after we graduate. And honestly, like the coaching staff here, like HUD has been so dependable. Like I know that we could call him anytime we needed him. It's really just been truly a great experience, and I just love every single person that I've met, honestly.
Well said. All right, Kayla, tradition here at Tornado Talk. you get the opportunity for any shout outs or thank yous. Anybody you just want to, say what's up to. The floor is yours, Kayla Jean. Give us some shout outs.
I'd like to shout out my family. I love you guys. Thank you for everything and staying with me throughout this journey. I'd like to shout out all my friends, all the new friends I've made, everybody that's accompanied me on this journey. I couldn't do it without you guys.
Very nice. Melanie, you know the deal. Shout outs.
I'd like to thank God for giving me these opportunities to play 2 sports in college for the past 4 years. I'd like to thank my family for all the time that they invested in me growing up with playing sports for so long, and thanking my friends for being such a good support system while I'm away from home.
Melanie Hoyle and Kayla Jean, 2 members of the Brevard College women's basketball team. They'll be on the road this Wednesday at Salem, and then the senior day on Saturday versus Meredith at the Bosch. That's a 4:00 tip-off senior day ceremony. Just a few minutes prior to that. Hope to see a lot of folks at the Bosch. Kayla, Melanie, great job this evening. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. We're going to switch gears quickly here because as we're heading down the home stretch of the basketball season, we are rapidly approaching opening day at Gilcone Field as the 2025 baseball season's underway, and joined now by 3 members of the Brevard College coaching staff. Interim head baseball coach Vinny Carone in that upper right location. How are you, Coach?
Good. How you doing, Phil?
Doing great. Also with us in that bottom left location, Steve Hucke. Great to have you back on the show, Coach Hucke.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here.
And no doubt. And, making his debut as a member of the coaching staff. We saw him as a student athlete, a few times over the years, but joining us as a member of the coaching staff, assistant coach, recruiting coordinator, Coach Cam Cook. How are you, Coach Cook?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Very good. Well, great to be on with all 3 of you. The season has gotten underway. You guys got started, Coach Carone, this past weekend with a road trip to Averett. I know not the results the Tornadoes wanted necessarily, but it's great to get baseball underway, and we are off and running with Tornado baseball. Can you recap the preseason and then the start of the season this past weekend?
Yeah, obviously it's good to get out there and play. We have a very senior heavy group with a few young guys sprinkled in. Obviously not the result we wanted this weekend. I think coming off a little bit of a high from last year, finishing in the conference championship game, I think we expected things to kind of go smoothly early in the year. And when that happens, you kind of get punched in the face sometimes and you get brought down to earth. So I think it was a good thing for us this weekend to kind of go out there and see our flaws exposed right away. And really not be able to run from it or hide from it. Like we didn't sneak out a win. We didn't come away with anything really pleasurable in it. So I think it's good for us to have that experience early on so we can learn and grow from it. And now we got the rest of the season to improve and look forward to having better outcomes.
Coach Hucke, I'd love for you to add to that as far as what you're noticing from this year's club, the 2025 Brevard College Tornadoes.
Well, I think we're deeper in all positions, and I think we just need to start believing that we can, go out there and compete. With a large group of seniors, and then a good group of freshmen coming in that are competing and are going to give us some opportunities to make some decisions and make some moves here and there late in the game if we need to, and not be, do we do this, do we do that? I think we're going to be a little bit more as a coaching staff, be able to make some better decisions down the road. But I'm excited. Today's practice was very intense and very upbeat and very focused. And I think that they realized that they maybe came in a little bit on too much of a high and got knocked off that mountain a little bit. We're not, we said that, I've said this before, Brevard's not hiding anymore. Everyone knows we're coming. So everyone's geared up for us.
Very good. Also with us, Coach Cam Cook. Great to have you debuting here as a coach. Coach, let's just get into that. What was it like to be a member of the coaching staff for actual game action versus, all these years as a student athlete? Can you share with
more
some
gray hair now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely different. It was definitely an adjustment. It was great to sit back and kind of let guys do their thing. And obviously there was the back part of me that was like, Vinny, give me a jersey. Let me go in. I'm ready. But yeah, obviously I left this program in a good place, and I want these next guys to step in and fill their roles. I know they're going to be great, and they're going to be great. I tell them that every day, that this team is really good, and we have a lot of talent, and we just have a lot to prove.
Yeah, but no doubt. Coach Carone, interim head coach, great to have you aboard. We had to make some adjustments to this weekend's series schedule. We're gearing up for opening day at Gilcone Field, which is scheduled for this Friday. Some impending weather, and that announcement was made earlier today. Could you share with us sort of the rationale and also what fans can expect this weekend?
Yeah, so we got a lot of bad weather coming in tomorrow and the next day, probably like 2.5 inches of rain. But then Thursday and Friday look pretty good. So there's a decent chance we should be able to play Friday. Friday looks like the best day of the week. So we'll try to do a doubleheader Friday, and then Saturday, another like inch of rain. So we pushed the Saturday games back to Sunday and hoping to play probably later in the day to give the field a little bit of time to dry up and sit under the sun. So I think Sunday will probably be the bigger question mark, but I think any games we can get out this weekend will be good. And then fans just expecting a team that's ready to come out and defend the Gill and showcase that we're better than what we let on last week. I know we had a tough practice today. The guys responded in the right ways. So again, mature team, older team, they know how to respond when they're threatened with adversity. And I think expecting to see a team come out, play fast, play aggressive, and play in a way that we've become accustomed to seeing.
Coach Hucke, opening day across all levels of baseball is always such a special occasion. I know you've been a part of a bunch of them, but it never gets old, right? Opening day at a ballpark, and that's what we'll be in store for hopefully this Friday, weather cooperating versus Toccoa Falls.
Yeah, I've always said it doesn't get older. I just get older. So, sometimes I feel it, and I felt it Saturday. I think I've made my adjustment to living in the South. I was bundled up a little bit more than I normally am, and it was chilly on Saturday. But yeah, I love walking out to the ball diamond. It's my 29th year as a college coach, and it feels like it's my first. So I love doing it, and I love being around with these two guys. Like I said, Cam earned some gray hair this week and this weekend, and I think he's going to wear it better than I do. But no, it was fun. It was fun to help usher in the new era. This is my second ushering in a new era with Vinny, and did it with Vic and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see how this thing goes and ready to go along with the ride.
Coach Cam Cook, well, the Gill, and Coach Carone touched on it a bit there, is a special place. Last year, 14-6, the Tornadoes' record at home. Certainly home field advantage in every sense of the word. But as someone who's played there, who's built off that energy, who's experienced that home field advantage, how do you describe it, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, when you practice here every day and you play here every day, you learn all the ins and outs of it, where the bad hops are going to be, where to put your foot on the rubber, where to step in the box. So when you're practicing there every day, it kind of gives you, like you said, that home field advantage. And in my time here, we've had a lot of success at home. And I told the guys today, we have a chance to start off the season right. We have the chance to flip the script and be undefeated at home and start that positive presence, being a home field team. Like you said, we were 14-6 and hoping to have a better record this year. I think when we're at home and we have the fans, we have the whole team with us, I think the energy is at an all-time high, and it's hard to beat us.
Coach Carone, a 3-game series set for this weekend to kick things off at Gilcone Field versus Toccoa Falls. Then you've got a trip to Greensboro for a midweek game. You head to Danville, Kentucky for a series there. Then we see Guilford back here at Brevard on Saturday, March the 1st. Can you tell us a little bit about how sort of the schedule lays out this season and how those non-conference games ultimately will prepare the Tornadoes for USA South Conference play?
Yeah, we got a busy schedule. We're traveling a lot, so I think that will be a good challenge for us. Like you said, 14-6 at home. I think our record on the road has been a challenge for us, and that's something we need to pay attention to and have a little added focus when we go on the road. So we play a couple long trips. We're going center, we're going to Huntington. I think that'll be a good challenge for us, playing a lot of good teams on the road. I think that'll prepare us for conference play, which is always the big focal point of the season, is obviously doing well in conference and hoping to make another championship run this year with it. So yeah, it lays out well. We're going to play a lot of midweeks as well. So we need depth with our pitching rotation, which I think we have. And we only got a chance to see a handful of guys this weekend because 7-inning games with the daylight being a little bit less this time of year. So we'll get to see a lot of young arms. We have a good young staff behind like our more seasoned pitching staff and seasoned relievers. So I'm excited to see them have an opportunity to throw in the midweeks as well. I think Hucke touched base on the talent in the freshman sophomore class as well. So I think it's good to have that busy schedule early on. Guys can have an opportunity to prove themselves, and we can start to fill out roles and see where guys perform best. And then that leads us into conference play where we've been challenged. Everybody's kind of gotten a few innings under their belts, and then we can go out and play our best baseball at the end of the year.
And one more for you, Coach Carone. Coach Hucke mentioned ushering in the Mike Victory era a few years back. Well, you've got a special relationship with Coach Victory, who is no longer at Brevard College, but up to the state of Maryland for a new opportunity and so forth. But you had the opportunity to play for him, to coach with them, and the continuity that you bring in this interim head coach position, just critical for the Tornadoes. Can you talk a little bit about that as far as, sort of the philosophy that both Coach Victory and now yourself brings to the Tornadoes?
Yeah, I think one thing that we've always shared is our philosophy on the players being at the focal point of the team and always being player first and making sure that they're doing well, whether it's mental health, whether it's just enjoying the game and having a good experience. It really revolves around them. Obviously, you still need the toughness that a coach needs to put on guys. You got to be hard on them sometimes and challenge them to be better. But we really have both always agreed on making sure that person goes out there and plays the game with enjoyment and lets their game be a reflection of who they are. And I think that's something that it was very enjoyable for me to be able to coach with a coach who shared that same belief as me. And then also to play for a coach who shared that same belief. And beyond that, I learned so much about just how a college baseball program runs, especially the Division III level. Coach Victor's been to, he's not old, but he's been to a lot of different places and seen a lot of different baseball programs and has a lot of really good experience. And me only being at a couple places after coaching at the high school level, I may have only been at a couple places, but I was able to get that experience that he had by listening to him and being with him every day. So hopefully can use that knowledge that he's given to me in a positive way and continue the winning tradition that he's instilled here at Brevard College. And obviously we have a lot of talent that he brought here, and hopefully getting these guys that he brought in to finish the job and do what they've kind of always set out to do while at Brevard, and then continuing that tradition with the young talent that we have coming in, and making sure that the Tornado logo on our hats means something for a long time to come.
Coach Hucke, a lot of folks might not realize your other roles on campus: admissions counselor, athletics liaison, adjunct instructor in physical education and recreation. So you're teaching, you're an administrator, you're a master recruiter, not to mention, your skills on the baseball diamond. Tell us a little bit about, just how you've immersed yourself in Brevard College and, how this has been such a good fit for you.
Yeah, when I first moved down here, I wanted to stay in the game of baseball as much as I possibly could, and reached out to Coach Victory, and he brought me in, and we met, and we hit it off right away. And I love the culture of Brevard College. I love what it's all about. I love that it's experiential education, and it's about the students and developing students and developing leaders. It's not about what we can do for you. It's what we can all do for each other. And I see that every day. I hear it every day, and I'm around it every day. And it's something that it's when I look back on my years of experience as a student and then on into coaching and teaching, this would have been a great fit for me, in the current culture of being a hands-on experiential type of setting, and just being able to understand that I have a say in what I do as a student. And I think that's something that you don't get that very often other places, is being able to have that communication back and forth to develop yourself as a student and as a person and become the true person you want to be. So I think that's something that's really has impressed me about here, and what really attracted me to stay here and be a part of this culture as much as I possibly can.
Well said, Coach. And with us, of course, Cam Cook, also assistant coach and recruiting coordinator. As far as that part of your title, Coach Cook, tell us a little bit, the kinds of things you're talking to recruits about, the excitement for Brevard College baseball as you're out there on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, I think my personal experience as a player kind of gives me a little bit of benefit. I also obviously get a lot of information from Vinny. He's had a little bit of experience under his belt, so he's really helped me along that path. But kind of what I tell athletes when they want to come to our school or want to experience college baseball is a little bit about, like you said, we're very, very focused on the experiential education, and we kind of bring in that aspect of really hands-on learning and putting the student and the player first in our program, and also building a successful program. I mean, we've made a lot of leaps and bounds since Coach Victory has taken over, and we're a championship contender team now, and that's the standard. So player-centric and also championship contending is kind of the two main points that I try to bring up.
I guess we're running the show now.
Coach Carone, how do you feel about today?
Great day of practice.
we can finally have our coaches meeting now.
Yeah.
Oh, Morty just piped in. Yeah. Run the show. Here we go. Yeah, we're show. What's the plan for tomorrow, Vinny?
I don't think we can give away our secrets live on air. If I had complete control, I would be kicking Hucke off to go along with Morty's request.
I love you too, Morty. I'm surprised Morty knows how to run the computer.
I know you're not talking.
Hey, I figured it out tonight. Well, what happened to Phil, I wonder?
I don't know. I'm also curious to see if we're just completely – we have to be live if Morty's commenting.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's like a podcast. We should start.
Yeah, we got our own podcast.
We need Nico Bartolotti and Jack Weaver.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, I think Phil's coming back. That's all right. The new version of Tornado Talk.
All right, guys. Hey, if you ever want to join the media, I think I got a spot for you. You guys were able to carry this thing for a few minutes there.
We're in, man. We're in.
Very good. Well, we were just about to wrap up. Appreciate you guys keeping the flow going. But before we do, we're going to invite in a few baseball student athletes who've been waiting patiently backstage. Luke Morton, Hayden Jennings, Andy Fahringer. These guys just cool as a cucumber, despite our technical difficulties. Coach Carone, before we let you and the coaches go, tell us a little bit about these three student athletes, the three captains for the 2025 season.
Yeah, so it takes a lot to be a captain for the Tornado baseball team. You got to have some academic excellence and obviously just be an outstanding member of the community as well as for the baseball team. And these guys are the best examples we can have of what Tornado baseball is all about. Morty is just a very high energy guy, brings a lot of positive vibes to the dugout. I'm really, really thankful to have him on board and really growing in terms of being a leader that also holds people accountable, not just lead by example. And he's been working really hard at that and doing a phenomenal job of making sure that he brings people up with him while also bringing that positive energy every day. Hayden is he's our starting catcher and very intelligent behind the plate and leads the team on the field and does a lot of his homework in between series to make sure that we're moving in the right direction. The pitching staff is doing the right things and throwing well. But then also he's very reliable between practices to make sure that guys are doing the right things, getting everything done, relaying that information, and again, holding people accountable and making sure that they're holding up to the standard. And then Andy Fahringer, also known as Fish, has been brought onto the captain staff this year. And really, really huge addition, I think, for the captains and also for this baseball team to have somebody represent on the pitching side of things, which is really important to us. And again, just phenomenal student, great person in the community, but then also has stepped in quickly and just upheld the standard that we ask of them And we ask a lot of all three of these guys, and they do a great job of coming in extra to talk with me and talk about practice plans and talk about the week and talk about how the team's doing. And they've really excelled, and I think taking another step forward in terms of just their leadership on the field. So really proud of how they've led this season, in addition to just being phenomenal people.
Appreciate that, Coach Carone. Coach Vinny Carone, Coach Cam Cook, Coach Steve Hucke. Best of luck this week as we prepare for opening day at Gilcone Field versus Toccoa Falls. Great to have the baseball season underway, and thanks for joining the show this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. And as Coach so eloquently introduced these three, we've got Luke Morton in the upper right location. How are you, Luke?
Good, Phil. How are you?
Doing great. Hayden Jennings with us as well. How are you doing, Hayden?
Good. How are you doing, Phil?
Doing great. And Andy Fahringer along for the ride also. How are you, Andy?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Well, great to be with you guys. Luke, let's start with this. You three are the captains. What are those responsibilities, and what do you guys, what's your goal as captains of this baseball team moving forward into this 2025 season?
I would say our responsibilities are just setting the standard for the team as a whole. Whether that's at practice, whether that's game day, whether that's just in the locker room, right? We hold ourselves to a higher standard so that the younger guys can see that. And yeah.
Hayden, can you add to that as far as, what it means to you to be a captain?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just doing the right thing, doing your job. I feel like when we do our jobs and we do them well, it just really sets a good example for the team, whether it's on the field, off the field, in the classroom, the weight room, things like that. That's pretty much my biggest thing, is just doing your jobs. That way all the younger guys can see it and grow through the program and take over what we built.
Andy, can you add to that?
Yeah, I mean, being the only pitcher here, we have a super young bullpen, and being a bullpen arm, it's just kind of being the guy, a bunch of these younger guys who've never had the college season experience to come to if they ever have any issues or anything. And I'm a younger captain going to be here next year as well, so it also gives them a chance to have another guy for next year too if they ever need anything.
Luke Morton, Hayden Jennings, Andy Fahringer with us from the Brevard College baseball team. Luke, not the results you wanted this past weekend as the season got underway at Averett, but able to get back out there on the practice field today and got a lot to look forward to, beginning with the home opener this weekend versus Toccoa Falls. Tell us a little bit about the mindset of the team heading into this week.
Yeah, so my big thing this year has been fighting adversity, right? And obviously week one, we got punched in the mouth, so I'm expecting us to return that punch, go out there and defend the Gill.
Yeah, Hayden, I see you nod in your head. I'm imagining that's sort of the thread amongst all the tornadoes. You guys are ready to put that weekend behind you and to get right back at it and into the win column.
Yeah, I think we kind of walked in there with our chest bowed up a little bit more than we should have, and we rightfully got beat. And I think it's time that we do some reflecting and we get back out on our field and take care of business.
Andy, can you talk from the pitching staff perspective as far as, not the weekend you guys wanted, but again, a whole season ahead of you still?
Yeah, long season for sure. We have a bunch of new guys in the bullpen, so it was good to see some new arms, Colin Weathers, Gage Granada out there for the freshmen get their opportunity. But we're a much better team than we showed, and we all know that. So looking forward to seeing what this long season has for us. Obviously, those first three games aren't the team we are, and looking forward to seeing what we're going to do and the changes we make.
All right, Andy, I'm not a huge nickname guy, but I'm going to follow Coach's lead. He brought it up.
Yep.
What's the story with the name Fish? And where did it come from? How is it stuck? Tell us about it.
My freshman year, first week of being here, Ethan Coleman on the team. We were hanging out. He's one of the first guys I clicked with here. And just one day hanging out in his room, he just looked over and just said, "Hey, Andy, you kind of look like a fish." And then when I was here, fifth year senior, Bryce Bowers was here, and he just kind of helped make it stick, and kind of it.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone calls you that around Gilcone Field. In fact, I was a little thrown off once. I was like, "Hey, who's out there in the bullpen? Can someone ID that pitcher for me?" And they say Fish, and I was perplexed the first time I heard it. But appreciate you being so candid about that, Hayden. That's part of baseball, right? Like it's a lot of sports. It's so robotic and so serious all the time and that kind of thing. Obviously you guys get after it and put your game face on and all that, but also it's a long season. You guys have a lot of fun along the way as well.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it really is a long season. When you look back at it, like the first weekend of the year, everybody's most excited for it. There's some positives to seeing it, a lot of negatives, but we just got to remind ourselves, like, this is only going to make us better. It's a long season. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for us. And we also just got to keep it in mind that, like Morty and mine, this is our senior year. This is our last ride. And if we're not having fun with it, then what are we doing? And granted, we probably didn't have a lot of fun this weekend, which is why I think we needed to step back and look in the mirror and just remind us, like, why we're here. We're here to have fun. We're here to win. And we're here to play baseball.
Yeah, but senior season for both yourself, Hayden, and Luke Morton. Luke, what does that mean to you? When I say that senior year here at Brevard College,
Surreal, to be honest. I can't believe these 4 years are already over with. But I mean, it just gives us that much more motivation to go out there and get the job done this year.
Yeah, Hayden, can you echo those thoughts as far as what being a senior means for you and how every game, every moment counts from this point forward? Correct.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Morty said, it's pretty surreal. I mean, I can just think back. It feels like yesterday moving my stuff into the beam freshman year, and then now I'm here, sitting here senior year after the first weekend series is already played, 30 plus more games left in my baseball career. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it goes by quick. Enjoy every moment of it, but no, there's a lot of competition to be had in the meantime, and it starts this weekend versus Toccoa Falls here at Gilcone Field. First opportunity for the home crowd to see the Tornadoes. How much does that mean to yourself, Andy, and to the Tornadoes to get to play at Gilcone Field?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, there's no place like home for sure, and especially as a bullpen arm, out in Avery, we don't even have a bench in the dugout out there. We get to come home, and just our bullpen is a great place to be. Our field, everyone here, it's just completely different playing at home.
Hayden, love for you to add to that. Gilcone Field, what a home field advantage.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I haven't been on a lot of baseball fields where you could walk out in the center field or third base or the pitcher's mound and just see mountains all over the place. Everybody that comes here that's never been here before always talks about the scenery, just how everything is. And I think the Gill is pretty awesome. It's a special place to us. I mean, we've seen a lot of growth on that field, and that's why I think it's so special to us, and we're ready to play on it.
Yeah, and Luke, I know you've had the chance to interact with fans who've come out to Gilcone Field. Great atmosphere, right? With the whole idea that you can even make a day out of it up on the hill with your dogs or your picnic or what have you. What are sort of the things you notice about Gilcone Field and what makes it special?
Well, one, there's no place like Gill, and when there's a lot of people out there packing the hill, packing along the stands, it just makes it that much more special.
Yeah, it certainly helps in that home field advantage. Well, a couple more baseball questions before we go off the field. Luke, this year's team, you've been around for plenty of earlier, varieties of Brevard College baseball, but what's going to make this year's team special? What makes you guys unique?
The depth we have this year, as Coach Hucke said, I mean, the depth is unreal. I mean, any one of us can be replaced by these younger guys in a heartbeat, and that's really exciting because it gives us that competition and practice to go out there each and every day and get better.
And Hayden, that depth really, it breeds competition. It just makes everybody better. It raises all boats, correct?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the depth is one thing that gave us a lot of good challenges when we were inter-squadding in the fall, to our black and blue series, to our spring inter-squads. I mean, like Morty said, any one of us can be replaced by any of these younger guys. And I think it's a great thing because in the past, there's been times where guys probably couldn't have come out of a game for doing something because we didn't know who was going to back them up. But we all know now, if I make a mistake, someone makes a mistake, there's someone there ready to take my spot.
Similar question for you, Andy, but we're going to zone in on the pitching staff. What makes this year's pitching staff special?
We're just super young. I mean, you can see it. There's 15, 20 guys in the bullpen. The staff is super big this year with all these young guys and just so much excitement. A lot of unknowns for what these young guys can do, and I'm super excited to see how much better of a staff we can be.
Luke Morton, senior infielder from Wake Forest, North Carolina. So before we know it, we're going to be talking senior day for baseball. We're going to be talking graduation, all these things. What's the major in? What's the degree going to be in? And have you thought beyond that as far as future plans, Luke?
So my major is business and organizational leadership. I plan on using that somehow. I couldn't tell you how at this very moment, but the plan is to use that degree somehow.
Very good. And Hayden Jennings, also a member of the senior class out of Beaufort, South Carolina. Hayden, what have you been working on in the classroom? What's the degree going to be in?
Yeah, I'm also a business major with an exercise science minor. I have no idea what I plan on doing with it yet, but that's what I'm working on right now.
Very good. And Andy Fahringer, junior here at Brevard College. Fill us in on your studies, Andy. What have you been focusing on?
I major in exercise science, minor in business, and I want to get more into like sports broadcasting, sports analytics, as I've been the announcer for basketball a bit this year, so hoping to get more into that.
Yeah, just one quick follow-up on that, Andy. What's the experience been like? I'll tip my hat to you. You approached me, says you wanted to start doing some broadcast statistician work. Before you know it, you're announcing games, and I know you've been diving into the sports media side of things. Tell us how much you've learned in a short amount of time, and how you think it's going to continue to grow for you.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Appreciate you for giving me this opportunity, of course, and love working in like this field. I was pretty nervous in the beginning, especially the first broadcast I was on, but I enjoyed it a lot. Hope to get more experience with my senior year and stuff like that and go further into this field.
Very good. Luke Morton, Hayden Jennings, and Andy Fahringer, the three captains of the 2025 BC baseball team. Well, it's just about that time, fellas. We're going to give you each the opportunity for shout outs or thank yous. Anybody you just want to say hello to. The floor is yours, Luke Morton. Kick us off.
First and foremost, I want to thank the man above, because without him, none of this is possible. I want to shout out my family, because my biggest supporters couldn't do anything without them. And yeah.
Well said. Hayden Jennings?
I'm a shout out my parents, my family back home, and also the coaching staff here for giving us everything we need.
What you got for us, Andy? Shout outs?
Yeah, I want to thank my family, of course, my girlfriend for always supporting me, and all my teammates always there for me no matter what.
All right. The three captains of the Brevard College baseball team, 2025 opening day this Friday. It's a noon first pitch, a doubleheader versus Toccoa Falls. Hope to have a big crowd out there at Gill Cone Field. Hey, can't wait to see you guys at the Gill. Best of luck for the entire season, and thanks for joining the program, fellas.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks
Thanks for having us, Phil.
All right, that'll wrap up another edition of Tornado Talk. Big thanks to KJ Henderson for her production support. Also, Sports Information Director Joseph Marvin. A lot of action around Brevard College this weekend. We mentioned the baseball series, 2 games on Friday, a game on Sunday. There's men's lacrosse action on Friday night. There's the men's and women's basketball doubleheader, senior day ceremonies on Saturday, and then the women's lacrosse season opener at home on Sunday. So check out bctornadoes.com and follow the NATOs on social media, and you'll stay up to date with all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Well, that'll do it for another edition of Tornado Talk. Go Tornadoes!